we went higher last night on the British pound. But just to get up there, we had to keep stabbing down into this kind of like going after the Williams fractal, the Williams fake breakout. So people that trade breakouts like this in the 1 hour, maybe they'd be right in the long run. So sure, if you went long on this one here, you could say, look at that, it's working. Besides, it's in an uptrend. And but buying this 10 pip window, that's where the money's at. So I'm going to cash out of this thing right now because I'm short. And it's bottom of the hour. And we're kind of almost back to fair value on this 1 hour chop. It's not that town in Seattle. Are these people kidding? Dude, Haight-Ashbury is so yesterday. God, get a life, man. What kind of fucking... How... This is it. That's what's moving this price. This is just like riots going on here. New highs, new lows. Oh, don't trade reversals. You get hurt. Oh, no. What are you, nuts? Who's waiting for these trades? So you could have a crop of orders down here and they just keep filling them. You just keep refreshing. Buy 30 pips deep for 3 hours. That's your whole trade plan. Sell 40 pips above you for 4 hours. So that's, you're saying the market momentum needs to be set at 10 pips an hour. So if you're going to put a square on the chart, the grid, you have 10 pips and you have every hour that angle. So 24 hours, you've got the whole day. That's 240 pips. So these markets move 120 pips in one day from stem to stern. The trap on the bottom to the trap on the top is the trade, range trading. Sure, you could say these things there's a trend here, but like, really, it doesn't really matter. Then if you got a 150 pip stop, it doesn't fucking matter what you do because you could probably make 30 pips if you did 3 trades like that. So you're going to have to do just tons of trading, I think, to soften the blow of the equity shock. So you don't need to be, it's not like you're going to have one bullet, one gun, and one scope, and it's good for all seasons. It's not going to happen. So when the market's smashing up and down, there's a perfectly good strategy for that. When the market, if you want to hold on to the trade for 3 weeks and look at it on a weekly, a daily breaking out into the weekly, sure. I don't think I could do it, but I guess on a small position, but what's the point? If I can get in and out of the market in 8 hours, why would I want to sit there and expose myself? Because you're an investor. This is the investment, the trend trader's view. But there's a 1 hour trend. Well, there's probably a 5-minute trend. If you're in the market for an hour and a half, there's probably some 15-minute trend that looks like, that's the end of the trend. Divergence on the MACD on the 15-minute chart. Yeah, you got to get the fuck out. Besides, it's the end of the day. Volatility's usually dying out. Of course, there's going to be a doji every Asian session. Which way do you go on that doji? Well, if you're just about to spill into some giant void from hell, you're probably going to that giant void from hell. You're probably going to go there. People are like, oh, I can't believe it. Yeah, you can't believe it, huh? Like, so you see the toilet paper's missing and you see these fucking nut fucks walking around smashing shit. And you're like, this reminds me of like a little kids having a tantrum. You never spoil people like that. So let them eat cake, And here's people eating cake. So I'm managing on it. So I'm getting out of this trade right now. And I'm going to just hold whatever's left. It's bottom of the hour. Let's get out. It's pulling back a little bit. It probably could crash here, but I'll put buy limits down below. So I'm going to go for a buy now. I'm going to get out of most of the shorts and go for a buy. I should be able to cash out of at least, take this down to like 10K. Okay, I'm in like 30K or something. And the pound costs a lot. So as this thing melts down, I can just keep hitting the take profit button. Plus I can go flat. So the ultimate position is flat because this is starting base. All right. If you're flat, you're more objective because if you're in anything, you're probably going to root for the trade you're in, unless you root against it, which you got to learn, I suppose, to root against your own trade. So that's when, you embrace the riot. You embrace the toilet paper missing because you realize it's so silly. It's like a stop hunt. It's a toilet paper hunt. It's gone. Yeah. Well, what the fuck are these people doing, though? Are they marking it up? Did they create their own toilet paper market? Like, can we chart it? Like, can we get a better deal? Can we wait for the crossovers? The Golden Cross. Oh, this wackadoodle shit that people have come up with. The Gartley is the ultimate. That is like the ultimate utopian dream. So it looks like we're going up here on the pound one more time. So I'm just going to accept the losses. I got big wide stops up here at the top. So I'll turn on the stops and the take profits. Although I like to just think about, I'm short, and this is where I get in. Because when I start seeing all those other lines, so I have to put in a subtle color on that one. So coloring is always the problem, I think, because you could really get carried away. Of course, Windows isn't letting you use this palette anymore inside of the normal. So you don't have that option. But that's my exits. So I'll make those a little bit more dark goldenrod. You can barely see them. All right, so that's my take profit and my stops. But take profit to me, I'm not going to change them. I'm sorry, those are my stops above. So that's why I don't usually turn them on, because it's the same color for the take profit as the stop, so it's kind of silly. I wish MetaTrader would have gone the extra inch and said, well, take profit's going to be a different color, stop could be a different color, and you could have your entry a different color. But this is not what's going on. There's Russian revenge. You just can't. That's how it is. Like Windows 3. This is all you got. So this is the pretty decent spread here. The commissions here, so it's 2 pips. I'm going to put some sell limits above and try to sell more above this high. So I'm going to get in on the way to that high and past it all day long here for the 15 pip day drops. So I just made this one that's a realistic amount, a dollar amount. Pretty damn close. Try to build it into this. This last number here on the right, this is a 6K, so imagine you have a 2 pip spread. Or 3 pip spread. It's going to cost you $2 here. You're only going to make a little bit less on the exit. So you have a 30 pip stop to make 20 pips. Not that hard to do. I think if you can afford $32. But you could do 10 of those, would be $320 to make $180 if you put them all in the exact same spot. But what's the chance of them filling, right? That's the question. Like if I put them below these fractals and I kind of get in on the trap where people are saying, oh, it's breaking down, it's making new lows, and let's get in there. You could go against those people. I'd start right here at this last, fractal's not showing up, but it's a fractal for me, this little swing low. 1 hour British pound. Of course, this broker won't take my orders. I'll try it again. Huh, I'm pretty sure I compiled that, but let's put this one in then. 30 pip stop to make 20. It's not taking my tickets. Here, let's do the trade over here though. So I'm just looking to buy low. She's broke. Oh shit, I don't know. I don't know what happened to it. That's kind of odd. I cashed out. Oh, I don't. This broker is just. Maybe I've got a bad feed here. I'm a demo server. I thought. Demo backup not available. So, oh well. There you go. But tomorrow will be the big psycho moves. I'm going to put in a stack of tickets like this now, since there's so much money in the account. So I can buy here, and I'm looking at this low on the 4 hour. So here's a great so-called supply zone. So I'm buying it all. It would buy more down here, and down here I'm pulling the trigger. I'm buying like at the market. If I didn't have enough tickets and they didn't last long enough, of course, you may not make it down here till like Thursday when some news comes out or some bullshit. Like, how far can the euro dollar move, I guess is the question. Up or down. So all these zones, if the broker would take my tickets, so I'm going to buy, say, right here at 10K. It's just so strange. I don't get it. I got my options turned on here, right? Huh. So, yeah, one-click trading's turned on, so I don't get it. Strange. Maybe I have to reboot the platform here. Huh. I'll just use this account here. So, same concept, different account. So this is a 2 hour. So this is a little bit less risky. If I take a 2 hour script and I drop it 20 pips deep, or I drop it 80 pips deep, if the news is going to come out, like right now, I don't think they could push it down that far, but you know what? You would say the same thing about this move here. If you look at this pocket, you'd have to say, well, gosh, if it ever gets down here, I mean, that's going to be just ripe for the pickings. I mean, people are just going to go nuts. Plus people that buy support because they think that's support, that's support, that's support, that's support. Like, this whole thing is support. And sure enough, they tag it and then they bag it to here. Bing, 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 bing. And this pullback, this hammer, this doji, this breakout here. So I knew I had to sell this whole thing. So I did. And when I got to here, I sold so much. You have no idea. So I got stopped out of... I got in pretty early, so I could see it coming, and I said, yeah, I was about 20K short into that, and then I got in very thick here, 150, 300K at the top, because then you just had to hold through this 4 hour crush back. So these are things, I guess, the patience is involved in that. But you could have bought into it. On the 1 hour chart, you could have justified these entries easily. So last night, the pocket to sell was new highs. So I put these in to sell here. That was the pullback off the round. And then more selling all the way up. And then... just unbelievably, just keep crushing straight up, 8 hours. And, a top become a bottom here. If you're buying this pullback, yeah, you're trying to trade this is the trend, man. But this here, all this slamming around here, this is pretty tough for people that are running tight stops. So you may have got on the train here. And if you didn't see this wick coming, this supply zone here where you didn't see this, like they catch that, then they catch more. And that was a juicy Asian pullback that was like, wow, just textbook. So we could have I think we're going to keep going up a little bit. So I'm putting my strategy to sell up here. And I'm going to buy below here, but not right below there. So getting in too early. So last night, I knew this is where the selling was going to happen. And, you have to take this off. But then I held on to some here thinking, well, fuck it. I'm too lazy to get rid of the tickets. I could see them on my phone. I thought, well, there's, how wide are the stops? Because if in the end, maybe that you think this is going to get taken out here, so you're going to hold that through the whole top swing of that. Now you're a swing trader. So the question is, are you scalping this? Are you scalping these things? That's a 1 hour chart. That's 2 hours of money. Here's 4 hours of money. That was so many fucking pips in 4 hours. Are you kidding? Look at this thing screaming up. But if you put your sell limits in, this one is finally a winner. If you sell into that, so people, how can you sell into that? Don't do it at the market unless you are going to wait for that screaming move. Yeah, sell at the market there, and then there's no chance to sell that at the market. You got to let your limit grids pick that up. So if you'd use a dual method, if you're bullish, you're always going to be running a 10 or 12, 10 to 30 pip pullback limits, right? If you're a trend trader, you're going to buy 30 pip pullbacks. You don't want to buy a pullback that's like, well, I suppose you have to have a cutoff point. If it starts to be like this, that's more than a pullback, and it has to drip all the way down, and it's this big fucking digging out of the hole, and then it finally breaks this. So now we could still go plunging here. I still want to buy this area for a bounce to here and sell this for, well, what if this is going to be the shoulder? So you have to estimate. If you think there's a scenario unfolding, you would have said that's the shoulder and this is going to keep tanking, but it's not. Asia's coming and we're probably at the weasel up here and maybe it'll just do this stuff. And what if it just does this? You got a trade plan for that? So when it does this, rips down, and you're like, what? But see, in the dailies, this is nothing but taking out the dailies. But on this chart, it looks like the most dramatic thing in the world. If you've ever traded this in any kind of size, this is like tons of money, and then you're just treading water for 4 hours here of nothing. There's no change in your equity. So that's a real entry point for some people. So it goes sideways. Some people are going, you know what, let's get on the long train. And some people are like, you know what, I think it's going to break down. So let's put in sell stops here and get picked up on the short train. And we'll put a stop here in case we're wrong, but you never get filled on that side. But what if you get filled long? And you're like, oh yeah, Cam, I would do it. Williams breakout. Put a fractal here, buy here. Look, I'm right. Okay, tell me about this wick then. Explain that to me. Yeah, the line chart's perfect rhythm. Buy a pullback, buy a pullback, buy a pullback, buy that pullback. It's easy. Shallow pullback, buy with a 10 pip stop. Shallow pullback, buy with a 10 pip stop. You get stopped out. You have multiple trade plans going. This 1 hour chart, yeah, if you consider and babysit this, yeah, Asia. People are long. As soon as we get to here, you know there's sellers. So you got to sell that. So how much do you sell? And then I just put another sell. I think the less risky is to put in the 8 hour script. We start right here at the tippy top. We're going to sell right into new highs. It's as simple as that. Now, when they tag them and you look at it on your phone, And you're like, okay, you know what? We scalped out, we're flat, we got other pendings that could still fill. You don't even have to trade at the market. It's going to come crashing into these tickets. Are you going to manage them as they come in? So I look at my phone, I stare at my phone, waiting for a fill. Kind of like it's kind of weird. It's like trading blind in a way. I mean, I know in my mind's eye that I put the limits in the market, but I'm not going to stare at this fucking chart because it's ridiculous. It's a little bit too much information. So well, look at the thing. I can look at the chart on the phone and see the tickets. It's a prettier looking chart actually on the phone. There's a IPS monitor. So you could get the colors so they don't have any. I can look at it without my glasses on, so there's no chromatic shift. And this chart here, you could really get carried away switching time frames and maybe change your mind about the trade down the 4-hour chart. It looks like a perfect trade, just like it does on the 1-hour chart. I mean, I would sell into this. Now, it may not be a winning trade, but for me, I'm comfortable doing the trade. I guess you have to be comfortable. So this is the thing. Yeah, you can put a moving average on there if you want. I can tell you probably a 20 EMA is going to be like, it's an uptrend. On the 1-hour chart, so 20 hours of the average trade direction for 20 hours, but it doesn't tell you what to do right now. But you'd have to go long right now at the market with a tight stop. And maybe go short the market with a tight stop because the market's quiet, so you got to do tight. That first trade's tight. On the 4-hour chart, it's going to naturally be dead in the water here. You got a doji, you got a small bar because it's Asia. So here was Asia here, then smashed down. Then it's been very violent ever since. There's no chance to do a breakout strategy, so you wouldn't even think about that. If you're doing 4-hour breakouts, it's not even possible. So having a 20 pip breakout on the 4-hour strategy, you have to go with the pips and whatever the broker's charging you for the spread. And that's just how you got to run it. Because it's got to be dependent on if you're going to make a 30 pip stop, where can you trade that? Where can you trade a 30 pip stop and survive to make 60 pips? Or even make 160 pips. There's places in this chart where you could have bought this 20 pip window and still be in this thing looking for one more move to here as it comes into my sell limits, and I'm going to cash out as it comes back. It's a gold mine here, but I think, it's okay to just take these dumb shit trades where you just buy these wicks and dump it. Why ride all this bullshit? Why sit in a trade going, well, I sold here and the gold out here and the ATRs are kicked up. Okay, I guess so. I can't imagine. How do you survive this fucking equity swings? Are you trading like 10K? I don't know. I can't watch a $2,000 fluctuation. It's just cringe. You got to cringe. You're up $1,200 in 4 hours and you don't get out? Well, I guess you must be driving one of those Ferraris or something. You must be in the very high tax brackets. Working for the man, working for the tax man. But I think it's just something to make money from. The whole point is there's leverage. If you had $1 million and you were trading 1-to-1 leverage, would you trade? I don't know. What's your expenses every month? I have no idea. When people are like, well, I want to do this, I want to do that, I make $16,000 a day. I'm like, well, how much are these hookers you're getting costing? Where are you finding these women? Can't you just get a girlfriend? Like, why? Yeah, the car, she came with the car. I got the car. It was like a new bonus deal they're doing. So but the catch is you got to social distance with her. You can't go anywhere. So I'm going to sell into this rally if the broker's going to accept my tickets. I don't know. I must have I hit my maximum. Let me. That's probably what I did. I got carried away with the dailies, so let me just delete all open pendings. Just go for a cleaning house here. I didn't think it was possible because I guess because I put them for daily expiration, I let it stack up. That's why the 2 hour orders are really nice because 2 hour, 4 hours, 6, because you can set it there, set it and forget it, and you know that when Asia opens, there's going to be drama. And if the market can drop, it this doesn't have to be 10 pips an hour, by the way. But that's the gauge, 240 pips a day. You want in on that trade, like it just dropped 60 pips in 6 hours. Yeah, I'll take it at that price. In fact, it could drop in 1 hour, and I would get filled on that, and that'd be even better. But if it's super deep, like what's the chance, right? What is the chance of getting filled? So that's the risk to consider. So let me just take everything off the account here. So that I'll put in the tickets here, and just barely trade the account now. So I retired the account. I trade really hard without stops. Had certain moves in here, and just dumped it. Just dumped the stuff out. But I had to be there for that trade, so otherwise this account would only be at about 12,000. So I made a huge amount of money. So I don't think you could trade it like that without being stressed, without being awake for it and stressed out and paying attention for it. You know, you have to really be looking at your possible, if you go in like that without stops. So I got into, I would say, I think like 30 standard lots or something crazy. I just kept hitting the button. Or 10 standard lots. 10 or 20. And I made all that money. So then I just go back to trading with these silly tickets. But I do think this is a practical approach. Now I can make a ratios. I've been working on a few of these. I got this to the point of, so here's kind of a risk $28 to make $33. That's a fair trade, right? All day long. At the very top, I'm going to put it up on this no man's land. Way up in the tippy top here. Oh, it's not taking my ticket. I just got rid of all the tickets, didn't I? Oh boy. I don't get it. Well, I couldn't get it running. I don't know what's wrong with the broker. So I'm on this one. I'm selling into this rally on the British pound. Pure limits. Just about to take out the high of the day, the high of the week. Sellers galore up here. I'm going to be one of them. 5 minutes after the top of the hour. Big spike here. Probably should sell at the market here, but I don't want to do that. I want to sell into this rally. So, unfortunately, I could not get this broker to run. I don't know what's wrong with it. But obviously, here's the trade. Selling all the way up here. So this is going to be 1 hour, 2 hours. And they're going to last all night into here. We're going to scalp some coming back off of that. But this thing's hell bent on going up. Very vicious, pissed off currency. This is the big shelf to sell into. Everybody's selling up here. Anybody that's anybody. Here's your 20 pips, 30 pips, your 10 pip winners, all sprinkled in there. And that's how you have to do it, because this is going to be just a no-brainer trade. And if you have too tight a stop on the British pound, 20 or 10 or 20 pips, you might get stopped out. But if you can survive up to here, and then here's where you're going to sell everything. That's the mega sell zone. So I'm selling into the pound right now. And just a few K. So that's going to be the Asian psycho session tonight. Looking forward to that. This is a big deal, this price zone. And short for the 10 pip winner to here right now. Just going to step in front with limits on that. Same story is kind of going on here with the euro dollar. Euro dollar's not quite to the high of the day yet. So the pound is playing catch up where the euro was ahead earlier. And now here comes the pound. But I'm selling above here tonight for any kind of crazy stuff that comes back to here. Or I could have bought, on the 4-hour chart, I could have bought here. But I just got out of my short. So I did buy. So I sell here. This fantastic supply zone. Straight down. It's like 5 hours. Now I can't wait to sell it again and then sell way more up here, just like the pound, as the pound goes up. What do you got? So the Bitcoin script. Oh, here's Dow Yen. So I want to buy the plunge here. So I think we're going to re-wick this 4-hour. So I would drop this ticket if it was going to run. It would come in and you'd see it. So we'll just make a imaginary buy bank. Just buy more below here. So I don't think we get filled right now, but later on. So here was the trap on the 4-hour. If you would have sold this and cashed out either that 10 pip window right back to the breakout point, or wait for it to take this out or anything below here. And the buy low guys have had their fun with this already because they bought here, and if you just kept buying more, the deeper you go, you have to have enough money for this trade though in the account. You need to be able to do that trade if it could happen. Right, because it could happen, but that's quite a dramatic. Even after it, what was that? Right after it closed. So, really down hard, 2 hours, and then rips back to the, not quite to the cash out. I think a lot of people were hoping to get back to here, didn't quite make it. Oh, we could crawl back up a little bit tonight. And dollar recovers, British pound sells off. But I'd also buy the British pound if it's sold off. So I'd buy the euro if it goes down, and I'd sell it if it goes above here. Or I could sell it for the next 4 hours, 2 hours in here, just looking for that perfectly timed trade where those tickets are going to disappear by this time. You know, they're gone. So if you run a stack of tickets way up here and they only last that long, what's the chance of the market going straight up in 4 hours? Well, maybe 8, maybe 12 hours. So if the sell banks are up here pending, then, right, so they could fill now. So you just have to lay them in. This is going to be the craziest place to sell, but the best trade is to sell up here. Now, either for the scalp or for it to come back to the logical support, what used to be resistance, may now be support is here. So that's possible. So it's all possible. We're kind of, you could buy at the market here for a ride into the sell zone, but what if you never make it there? What if you bought the market now and it doesn't go up? And how much would you buy? And is that enough money? Look at this wacky chart. It's 4-hour drama here. This is people just getting all excited about it, and then it just goes sideways and just tortures all these people to death. Look at that. It's so cruel, you know. I guess that's why people say that this market noise, I think it's the easiest thing to trade if you just are willing to put in the tickets on the buy side and the sell side. Then you're just, oh yeah, I'm making 10, 20, 30 pips, 10, 20, 30 pips. Here you're making some good money. Pretty good there. And then that big run. Now looking for another run, but wow. If it does make it there, that's going to be the greatest place to sell. And if it comes down here, I think it could be a dead cat bounces, make money on that. I do think it's done in a way, kind of cooked. So you can make these trend arguments, but boy, you know, all it has to do is smash up or smash down, and that's plenty of a money-making strategy, I think. Like I say, you can't always do that, because what happens when it starts to really trend? Can you say, all right, you make money from all this chop, and then this thing takes off and rips, and you can't understand why it's going down so hard? It's because it just took this out, took that out, and that's the Sunday's lows at that Sunday night. They take that out. People are like, what the fuck? Now, mind you, it's a good, if you could afford to buy here all the way down, you are up on every ticket. But that's going to be the sell window for sure. Guaranteed. I'm selling here just for the scalp. And when they keep poking up, so they kept poking down here, and I had limits in there. I wasn't trading this too much, but they kept filling my limits. I thought, that's just ridiculous. Look at this bullshit. It's 12 hours of this. So I think that's the exchange part. You know, yeah, you want to make this look like, oh, look at this beautiful downtrend. Yeah, I suppose on the half-hour chart, that's an amazing downtrend. That's ridiculous, these market moves, and just the whole idea of putting a moving average system on this, just absolutely ridiculous. Really think about it. You gotta be kidding me. So yeah, my algorithm was running real good here. I got in right there, and everything was going really good. Jed said it was a great, and then, well, we had to change a whole system to a longer moving average to capture this. Yeah. Look at this thing, man. And if you just didn't have a moving average, how much money you could make. I wish somebody would have told me. Yeah, I think I was, when I saw that thing, I go, well, yeah, it's as simple as pie. It's pointing up, you just buy. Like, you mean you bought here on the breakout of the Williams fractal? Well, I did do that. And then, like, getting crushed. Well, I'm trend trading. What's going wrong here? So that's the hard part, I suppose. But because if you're going to be on the 4-hour chart and you're going to be in the market for 8 hours, I think you can see your trade. You could have traded this thing for 8, 12 hours. The dead cat bounce into here. That's a great trade. You could have sold new highs for just the pullback to the breakout and be done with it. You don't have to ride this whole thing down. And I'd say, yeah, this is going to be seller's delight if we ever make it into London up in here. Otherwise, I'm quite content of buying just pant loads here to dump it into here. So you only got to go 30. I got targets that are like 30, 40, 50 pips. Now, I do have a 60 pip target, but I don't think I might see my 60 pips. I don't know, the news came out, smashed around there, but it kind of takes a while to make 60 pips. I mean, this is a 200 pip move here, which took about, like a day and a half. That is a screaming move. And when they got above this, if you weren't selling, then you just don't see why that you got to sell there. It's the best sell in the world. I can't imagine how you could miss it. Now, how you could miss it is you'd say, well, I bought below here and I got killed. Yeah, because you didn't have enough money for this move to absorb that much and to even buy more, so that when it got back to here, you could have cashed out the whole thing. You don't even have to be in it now. And look at this final crush. Takes out Thursday's low, Friday down. Oh my God, you could be holding from Friday right now and be perfectly up in the trade. The end of the week, it closes down hard. Does this look familiar? And then it's up. Where's it at the end of the week? It closes up at the end of the week. I wonder if it could pull back. Now here's the exception. Closes up. Does it pull back? No, because it's going after this giant void. And here it doesn't exactly turn around and come all the way down, right? It goes up by Wednesday. So we're coming up on Wednesday now, in the middle of the week. We're going to climax here. This is like not Wednesday. This is earlier. So there's no, this is the day or that's the cycle. It's always changing. I can't imagine this stuff being steady. But whether this thing makes it to here, I don't care. I'm short the euro. I'm short the pound right now, so. Selling that breakout of the 8-hour breakout. So I took out the 8-hour highs. I'm short. Definitely would sell more up here though, so I got more tickets pending to sell this 10 pip window than all these guys up here. Sell, sell, sell. And so 8:30 is coming, and waiting for tomorrow actually. There'll be plenty of craziness. So the rate of plunge, I guess it's also waiting for every 4 hours to see if there's a trade on the 4-hour chart, if you're going to do that kind of trading. The 1-hour chart, if you're going to look at that, then that's going to mean that I guess you're going to still, like, see here on the 1-hour chart, and in 40 minutes I would sell it if it's above here. This is going to be the ripest selling zone, this 10 pip window, for the high probability kickback just inside that window. Pull back out of that window. But we may not make it there, and so selling above here in some capacity. Now, if you're really trading big, that's a great trade. You're probably going to cash out if you're really in big. As soon as we get back to the breakout point and close the gap, you probably got to get out. So it's kind of telling you what the trade needs to be. You're probably already out actually, because that pull, you already saw the pullback, so you can't see it on that time frame. So that's the pullback. You know, you kind of got to get out, right? So that's not quite back to the breakout point, right? Breakout points here, so a lot of Williams fractals on here. So here you could trade a Williams breakout actually. On the 5-minute, you could say, well, I put a buy stop here and I got filled and I'm up. Sure. On that time frame, I think you could. Man. I get so many requotes though on this mobile phone. I don't like it. Good old door slam though. So, all right, so that's the market basically. Looking to go higher here, possible plunge, possible rally. I go either way. I buy low, sell high. That's my story.